The rich man who had everything, but failed to see what truly mattered. There are stories that seem ancient, stories that were told centuries ago, but when we listen to them carefully, we discover something surprising. They are not only about the past, they are about us. They are about the life we are living today. This is one of those stories. It speaks about two men, two lives, two completely different destinies. One of them was very rich. He dressed in elegant clothes, fine fabrics that only a few people could afford. His house was large, bright, and always full of guests. The tables were always set. There was abundant food, fresh bread, fruit, meat, wine. Every day seemed like a celebration. People respected him, many admired him, some probably even envied him. From the outside his life looked perfect, but very close to that house lived another man. His name was Lazarus. Lazarus had no house, he had no wealth, he did not even have health. His body was covered with sores. His strength was barely enough for him to stand. Every day he stayed near the rich man's house. He did not expect miracles. He did not dream of luxury. He had only one small wish, to eat the crumbs that fell from the rich man's table. Something so simple, a piece of bread, a leftover bite, something to calm the hunger. But many times even that did not come. The only ones who seemed to approach him were the dogs that came to lick his wounds. And here is where the strongest part of the story appears. The rich man knew Lazarus was there. He saw him. He passed near him every single day. He knew he existed. But he lived as if that man were not part of his world. He did not insult him. He did not strike him. He did not chase him away. He simply ignored him. And sometimes indifference can be colder than cruelty. Because when we stop looking at others, we also stop feeling their pain. The heart slowly begins to harden. First we stop noticing. Then we stop thinking. And eventually we stop caring. Time continued to move forward. Days passed, years passed, until the moment came that comes for every human being. Death. First Lazarus died, the man who had lived almost invisible to the world. But his story did not end the way it seemed. He found rest. He found peace. A place where there was no more pain and no more hunger. Later the rich man also died. His funeral was probably elegant. There may have been flowers, perhaps speeches. Maybe many people spoke about his success. But his story did not end the way he expected. Because when he opened his eyes after death, he understood something he had never understood while he was alive. He realized he had lived looking at only one part of the world, the part that was convenient, the comfortable part, the part that demanded nothing from him. But he had ignored everything else. And then he saw something that shook him deeply. He saw Lazarus, the same man who had been so close to him for so long, the same man he had never truly looked at. And in that moment he understood something many people realized too late. Life was not only about what belonged to him. It was not only about his banquets. It was not only about his celebrations. It was not only about his comfort. There had been someone near him who needed help, someone waiting for a small act of compassion, an opportunity to do good. And he had let it pass. The truth is that this story is not only about wealth or poverty. It is about something much deeper. It is about the human ability to become used to not seeing. Today we live in a world full of distractions, screens, busy schedules, problems, worries. Our minds are occupied all the time, and without realizing it, we can pass by people who need help without even noticing them. Maybe someone who needs a kind word, maybe someone who needs support, maybe someone who simply needs to be heard, because sometimes the greatest suffering a person feels is not hunger, it is invisibility, feeling that no one notices they are there, that no one stops, that no one asks, that no one looks. And this story invites us to pause, to stop for a moment, to breathe, and to ask ourselves a very simple question. Who am I failing to see in my life? Maybe it is not someone on the street. Maybe it is someone much closer. A family member, a friend, a neighbor, a co-worker, someone who is going through a difficult time. Sometimes we think changing the world requires great actions, but often what changes a life are small gestures, listening, asking how someone is doing, sharing, extending a hand, taking a moment to care. The story of the rich man and Lazarus is not meant to make us feel guilty. It is meant to wake us up, to remind us of something very important. We are still in time. We can still look. We can still choose compassion. We can still do something good for someone. Because at the end of life, when everything material disappears, something remains, the lives we touched, the good we did, the love we shared. And perhaps today you can make a small reflection in silence. May my heart never grow used to passing people by. May I never stop seeing others. May I never lose the ability to feel compassion, because sometimes the greatest wealth we can have in this life is a heart that still knows how to see others. And if this story touched your heart, share it with someone who might need to hear it too. If you enjoy reflections like this, messages that try to bring a little light into everyday life, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Help me grow this beautiful community of messages for the soul and the heart. You can also leave a word or a reflection in the comments about what stayed in your heart after listening to this story,